So what if the secret to being a truly powerful leader isn't about being in charge, but about serving others? I know, it sounds completely backwards, doesn't it? Well, today we're diving into the core ideas from James C. Hunter's work on servant leadership. It's a philosophy that pretty much flips the traditional command and control model right on its head and gets incredible results.
Here's what we're going to cover. First, we'll look at a problem a lot of us know all too well, the modern crisis of leadership. Then, we'll get to the heart of the solution by unpacking the huge difference between power and authority. After that, we'll make it real by breaking down 8 specific behaviors that build that authority. And finally, we'll lay out a practical blueprint so you can actually start making this change yourself.
All right, first up, let's talk about a really familiar problem, the modern leadership crisis. We're going to explore the real reason why so many people are just fundamentally unhappy at work.
You know, the Gallup organization uncovered something that just gets right to the heart of this. Think about it for a second. The last time you or maybe a friend left a job, was it really about the company or the commute? More often than not, people aren't leaving their jobs. They're leaving their managers.
And that leads us to a really critical point. All this dissatisfaction we see in the workplace, it's not actually about the tasks we're doing. It's a fundamental failure of leadership. It's a people problem. And that means it needs a people-focused solution.
So this brings us to the central idea of servant leadership, and really the crucial difference between power and authority. And let me tell you, understanding this one distinction, it's the key to unlocking a much better way to lead.
Okay, so on one hand you have power. This comes from your title, right? Your spot on the org chart. It's basically the ability to force someone to do something, usually with that unspoken threat of do it or else. But authority? That's totally different. It isn't a position, it's a skill. It's about influencing people to willingly do what you ask, simply because they trust you. You can't be given authority. It has to be earned.
And this leads us to a much better definition of leadership. I really want you to notice the keywords here: skill, influencing, enthusiastically, in character. See, this isn't about managing tasks on a spreadsheet. True leadership is a skill you can learn, and it's built on inspiring people to work for a common good because they have genuine confidence in who you are as a person.
Here's a really simple way to think about it. Management is all about processes and tasks, planning, budgeting, organizing. It's the stuff we do. But leadership is about people, connection, and influence. It's a reflection of who we are. And that, right there, is why someone can be a brilliant manager of things but still fail completely as a leader of people.
So, if leadership is all about character, well, how do you build it? That brings us to our next section, the 8 specific behaviors that actually form the bedrock of a servant leader's authority. And the word used to group them all together, well, it might surprise you.
Yep, that word is love. Now, hang on. Before you write this off as way too soft for the workplace, you have to understand the definition here. This is not about some fuzzy emotion or warm feelings. In this context, love is a verb. It's a series of intentional actions, extending yourself for others, meeting their real needs, and actually seeking what's best for them. It's about what you do, not how you feel.
So what does this kind of love in action actually look like? Well, it breaks down into these 8 essential behaviors. You've got patience and kindness, showing self-control and giving genuine appreciation. Then there's humility and respect, being authentic and treating others as if they truly matter. You have selflessness and forgiveness, putting others' needs first and letting go of resentment. And the whole thing is held together by honesty and commitment, just being truthful and sticking to your choices. These are the day-to-day building blocks of real authority.
And here's what's so incredible about this. This isn't some hot new management fad. Hunter points out that these 8 behaviors, they're pulled directly from a text that's almost 2,000 years old, the famous passage from 1 Corinthians 13. It just goes to show you how timeless and universal these principles of human connection really are.
Okay, so we get the what and the why of servant leadership, but how do you actually do it? I mean, how do you put all of this into practice? Let's break down the blueprint for change.
The whole process really comes down to 3 actionable steps. First is the foundation. You have to define the standard. I mean, you can't hit a target you can't see, right? So what do these 8 behaviors actually look like in your world? Second, feedback. You have to find the gaps. And yeah, this can be the tough part, getting honest 360-degree feedback to see where you really are versus where you want to be. And third, friction. This is where the real work happens. You intentionally create accountability.
that healthy tension to practice these new behaviors over and over until they become second nature.
Ultimately, this is what it all comes down to. Your character isn't something you're just born with. It's the sum of your habits. It's built in the thousands of tiny choices you make every single day. So if you want to become a servant leader, you have to intentionally build the habits of one through deliberate and consistent practice.
And that leaves us with the ultimate test of leadership. It's a question that just cuts through all the noise. For just a moment, forget about the profits, forget about the promotions, and ask yourself this. Are the people you lead, whether it's your team, your family, your community, are they growing as individuals because of your influence? Are they better people when they leave your side than they were when they arrived? That is the true measure of a servant leader.